And something struck me as concerning because in the midst of Caleb starting 10 for 10, I didn't want to tweet because watching it, I was like, I don't think this is going to keep up. You agree,
exactly
Brew?
Where I was with the Ravens.
With the Ravens.
With the Bills. I was like...
Because even with that start, some of it was so hard. Like, he had to twice do kind of magical things to get a dump off.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, they do spin around and escape to end up checking down. And so the answer to the question is I feel much worse. And it started with the Tyler Dunn article on his website over the weekend, which talked about the dysfunction of last year, the personality, work ethic, or other potential issues that might prevent Caleb from reaching his full potential. Then during this game, it was so bad pre-snap. And Coach Mangini might emphasize that, but he did call someone into motion with 3 seconds on the play clock. Right. They were getting out of the huddle late. The penalties, which we can show you, there were a bunch of penalties. They're not all on Caleb. The pre-snap ones are not even all on Caleb because it's false start, you know what I mean? Right. But some of them are. And the fact that he seems to be, at this point in his career, a bit of an emotional roller coaster because he had not missed a pass until the 4th down that he missed badly. Yep. And then you instantly saw him doing this thing on the bench again. Now he did, I don't want to say he snapped out of it, but it's not like, he was, but he was a different player after that. He's a player that the talent is undeniable. The play on the sideline is undeniable that only a handful of guys in the whole league can make. But if it was just that the pre-snap stuff is bad, then I deal with that to get that.
Sure.
But when you add to it, he also missed some layups that would have won them the game, like easy passes. You know what I mean? The 4th down should have been an easy pass. He had a touchdown to Rome that could have been, or DJ Moore, pardon me. And so I am not out on Caleb Williams. I am pumping the brakes on my own timeline of when he will become a great player because I think he is further behind than he should be his first start of year 2. Wow. I do feel that way.
I'm going to let Brew go, obviously. I just want to say, wow. I was expecting Nick to, double, triple, quadruple down and be like, I feel even better after this game. It's clear and blah, 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 because he said that Caleb Williams was going to be the best quarterback in this division, that he was going to prove to be the best quarterback in this division by the end of the season. And, he obviously is moving away from that take, which I respect. I respect the flexibility of it. But I am curious to see. I feel like Brew's just going to say a lot of the same stuff, honestly. So we'll take a listen to see what he has to say.
This is a momentous day.
Well, to use, and obviously I know he's not your main guy. Your main guy is Mahomes.
Oh, is it?
But, Nick likes to use the dating, the Rams dating him and all that. Yes. This is what we just witnessed. This is the equivalent of, I want to see other people. I mean, that's really what this is.
That was
right. I want to see it. We can still hang out, have fun, but I want to see.
We're no longer exclusive.
Yeah, that's what that was. So I'm just letting you know.
Thanks, bro.
But look, I'm with you to some degree in that I feel worse too about the Bears. I know it's just one game. I don't want to overreact. We're obviously not changing our picks at this point. They look like the worst team in the division, unless Detroit really has fallen off. I mean, obviously Green Bay looks awesome, great, and Minnesota just beat them. Yeah. And then Detroit, we assume, will still be a pretty good team. Minnesota's defense was better. Minnesota's quarterback was better yesterday, at least. Their run game was better. Mm-hmm. Their coaching was better. I mean, the adjustments they made at halftime just seemed to have Ben Johnson, they didn't react well to him. And a lot of this, obviously, how you feel about the Bears is a lot about Caleb. And look, he had his moments as he did his last year too, but he looked good at points. But Nick, and I think that quote from him supports what I'm about to say. He looks like a great athlete playing quarterback rather than a quarterback who happens to be a great athlete, like Mahomes, like Lamar, like Josh Allen. Like, he looks like a great, and the fact that you're still your second season, heck, first, I can't really think off the top of my head the last quarterback that we talked so much about, and he's talking in press conferences about we got out of the huddle fast. Or the plays came.
And by the way,
like,
I didn't think they got out of the huddle fast.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Just basic stuff that we take for granted. Like, when you watch Caleb, you're looking to see that stuff. You're not really looking for that with any other quarterback, even a lot of the rookies for the most part. And so, to me, that shows this dude is a phenomenal athlete, and he is. Like, the runs he made, the speed he showed.
And the arm strength is
the
unreal.
arm strength. And so, even like early on when he was 10 for 10, and Aikman did a great job of talking about this. Yeah, he was 10 for 10, obviously a lot of stuff underneath, checkdowns, but he was missing some stuff down the field.
Right, but Aikman also said, but I think Caleb Williams is doing a really nice job. Those were his exact words. Listen, we have to understand that last year with the Bears, there was a tremendous amount of dysfunction. And that Caleb Williams is clearly a really raw quarterback, needing to learn and do a lot of things that he hadn't had to do in the past. So this is a process. Caleb Williams might just have genuinely a different timeline and a different rate of progress that we've seen other quarterbacks have. And that's okay. And now I do think what Bruce said was well articulated when he said that he's a great athlete who's playing quarterback rather than a great quarterback who's an athlete. And I do think that's, a fair assessment right now. I do not think Ben Johnson was confused and was like, oh God, what am I looking at right now? He was creating the layups for Caleb Williams. Like the Bears had that game won. They should have won that game. And in my Herd clip, I did criticize Ben Johnson for two things that I thought that he should have done. Kicking the field goal rather than going for it on fourth down, and the whole thing with being able to get the ball back on the other side of the 2-minute warning, or ensuring that you get the ball back by punting the ball before, or kicking the ball, either because you just kick that field goal first with with extra time on the clock, or you take the penalty and kick the ball out of bounds. All the various options that you have before you, which I've already outlined in my previous clip. And so, and I think it's okay, right? I always want to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, on both sides, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there were definitely moments that were poor from Caleb Williams, but I still think week one, right? Like this is a tough thing. He's missing some throws, undeniably. Here's the problem. Pretty much every single quarterback over this weekend missed throws, except for, ironically, Jalen Hurts, because he was 100%. Adjusted completion percentage, 100%. So, like, every quarterback was missing throws. Here's the difference. This was a standalone game with Troy Aikman, who, from my viewpoint, is just the best, especially when you're looking at it through a quarterback lens. Like, he really doesn't hold back. Like, he's very, very, very honest. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. We definitely have commentators in the NFL that definitely kind of sugarcoat some stuff here, or try to, like, extra emphasize or de-emphasize stuff. I do not think Troy Aikman does that. And so I really appreciate Troy Aikman. And so I do think that a game like this, if this was like a random game at 1 o'clock, or, whatever time you're watching the games that it's just like on a Sunday, it's a little bit different. You would probably potentially get like, yeah, you're missing that throw, but that's to be expected. It's week one, blah, 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 blah. Or they don't even mention it on the broadcast. right? And then you really do not have to, now you have to dig through the film and look at the all 22 and have all that. And that's now a little bit more of a nuanced conversation. But instead, everyone's sitting at home watching it, and Troy Aikman's like, oh, yeah, he missed this throw. Look, this guy was open, and he didn't hit him there. And everyone's like, oh, see, he's missing. And they're zooming in on Ben Johnson looking upset. And Ben Johnson was upset. He is annoyed. I've talked about this before. Like, those types of things is going to drive a Ben Johnson up the wall, because you also only have so many opportunities throughout a football game. There's only so many opportunities for you to get that big play, to get that touchdown. And so you absolutely, it's a definition of like, you have to strike while the iron is hot. Like when it's there, you gotta hit it. You gotta hit it. You gotta hit it. You gotta hit it. Because you can't just be like, next time. And it's like, there literally might not be a next time. That was the time. That was the time. But they then struggled to run the ball. The O-line wasn't holding up as well. And it's just like, last year was just such a mess. This is the first real coaching staff that he has, Ben Johnson, and there's going to be development, issues. I say, there's going to be, some up and down, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And the reality is like, we've seen him make some unbelievable throws and he did great scrambling. Like, that's the thing. Like, he did all those things really, really, really well and really impressive. The problem is that I feel as though that a lot of people have moved beyond just celebrating him for that, because we need to see him do the other stuff. And it's just, if you're expecting him to be able to do all the other stuff, I mean, like, think about it. If he made a couple of those throws combined with his mobility, he would have played one of the best games over the entire weekend. It would have been like a top 5 performance. He would have thrown for over 300 yards. He would have had 3 touchdowns, a bunch of awesome scrambles, some scramble throws, a rushing touchdown, right? Like, it would have been a special. Again, just look at the math. It would have been like a top 5 performance of a quarterback. So you're expecting him week 1, second year of his NFL career to be able to put up a top 5 quarterback performance? Like, come on, that's ridiculous. It really is. You're asking for too much at this point. It's okay to point out his struggles. It's okay to have that conversation, but we just don't have to put everything in context here. If you listen, Tom Brady really emphasized this on his broadcast with the Commanders, that just like the passing game is always lacking in those first couple of weeks, because there's just so much timing and rhythm involved that it takes a second. And that's when you have continuity with coaching, which Caleb Williams does not. And Ben Johnson is undeniably overloading him with a ton of stuff. So it just, it makes sense. I'm not expecting Caleb Williams to have this flawless game. So I just think that we got to kind of tell both sides of it, honestly. But it is a tough loss, and I said going into this game, losing to the Minnesota Vikings will not bode well for Caleb. And if JJ McCarthy looks good and plays better than him, that will definitely not look good. And I can't say entirely that JJ McCarthy played. I think Bruce said JJ played better than Caleb. I don't know if that's completely the case. It's kind of hard because JJ obviously played a lot better in the second half than he played in the first half. So it's just like, when you see how ridiculous that first half was, you're just like, it's a little bit hard to balance out how well a quarterback played when you have the definition of like the tale of two halves, or 3 quarters and then 1 quarter of greatness. It's just like, how do we make sense of that? What will we continue to see? But I think the Bears had every reason to win that game. So to say like, oh, clearly the Bears are the worst team in the division, I don't know why that's 100% true. I don't know why that's true at all. And I don't know why we're expecting that this is the finished product for the Bears. Like, this is just Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has no room to improve at all throughout this season. He's the one quarterback who can't continue to improve as the season unfolds. Like, really? That doesn't make sense. And so right now we're witnessing the floor of Caleb Williams. And it was decent. Definitely some mistakes. Definitely some accuracy issues. Definitely some moments when you're like, well, that's why he was the number 1 overall pick. That's a special moment. And you could see the brilliant play calling. I mean, that play call for the touchdown in the fourth quarter was just, when you get those wide open touchdowns in the end zone, like that's when you're just like, that's why when I criticized the Bills, when Collinsworth said, this is the Bills play. This is the play that the Bills practice all the time, every single practice. This is their most important play that everyone knows it, and we're about to watch it. And it was like, you're ready? And it was just like Josh Allen calling hike and trying his best to get it to a receiver one-on-one. It was like, wow, that's the play that they had dialed up. And what did Ben Johnson dial up? I could have caught that touchdown pass. I could have thrown that touchdown pass. Like it was just beautiful. And they were able to do that in the red zone. And I didn't realize this. Caleb Williams didn't have a single rushing touchdown last season. I mean, like, is that true? Because that's indefensible. Like, that's insane. There was never an opportunity to get this guy in space or to get him into the end zone. Not even like a QB sneak. Like that's insane to me. How is that not even remotely possible? And you saw the scripted plays. Like I told you all, the scripted plays with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are going to be great. And they were. It's all the off-script stuff, right? It's all, and again, I pointed this out in my Herd clip. Troy Aikman talked about 2025 plays. I always looked at it through the first 15. He's saying 2025, which I thought was pretty interesting because that could be like the entire that could be a big chunk there. So yeah, I'm interested to see week 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like I need to see a handful of weeks in the NFL with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. That's what I think we all just need to have patience with. But it's this wasn't a win for Caleb either. I think it's okay to say that because you lost at home and you lost to JJ McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. So that hurts, man. That undeniably hurts. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams? Do you feel better or worse about them? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.